Hello guys and welcome to another day with Zimaleta. In today's video I will show you how I will actually replace the rear differential, the brakes and brakes calipers. I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be doing shocks and I'm going to be doing a sway bar. Turns out the shocks on this van they're kind of good. They're a little bit beefy, but the rubber pieces they're pretty much shot. Good thing I have brand new shocks. I'm going to be installing that. And then I noticed, how could a 290,000 mile Sprinter have the sway bar that it did? It was completely destroyed. Like the rubber pieces, they were just gone. And I'm thinking, how could this be? I guess somebody maybe took care of this, this other Sprinter that I have, and they installed a new sway bar in there because it is still completely good. I know I myself have put 100,000 miles on it, and it's still great. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Guys, look at this ingenuity. I have used our SUV in order to actually put a dolly on it, put my rear differential on it, and get it from the bottom of the hill all the way to the top of my property, guys. Of course, you could already tell it is the seal, it is leaking. It's not a big deal for me. I'm not going to worry about it at this time. But guys, look, I actually wrapped it up using a 2,000 pound type of strap. Same stuff I use for tying up my load. It is very tightly secured, but guys, this thing is heavy. If anybody knows the actual weight to this, please let me know, guys. I had to use my Russian bear strength to actually lift this thing up. So anyways, let's go ahead and wheel it to the Sprinter van. As you could see, I have set up sort of like a wooden type of rail system so that I could actually slide my rear differential all the way under the Sprinter. I've also used too much wood, probably of an overkill, so that if any of them fall, I'll still be able to have it high enough to where it's not going to be dragging on the bottom of the floor, and the metal could easily slide on the wooden rails. Let me know, guys, if you've done something similar in the past, because, maybe it's just me that's doing it like that. I haven't seen any other videos of people doing this. Actually, I haven't seen anybody's Sprinter videos on YouTube for that matter. So this is kind of like my own ingenuity. I did do rear differential replacement already a couple years ago, and I've done something similar with the supplies that I did have, and I'll tell you what, this wood does actually work pretty good because it will actually slide. But right now, as you could see, it's kind of tricky. You gotta, first of all, position it the right way, and, I had to flip it over because you don't want to stick it underneath there and then realize it's actually flipped over, or the sway bar is facing the wrong way. You gotta, make sure these things are gonna be facing just right, because you would not really have any room to work with it, like once you actually get it underneath the van. So anyways, guys, this is me sliding everything underneath, and then the very next thing I need to do is get two jacks evenly on each side of the rear differential. So I'm kind of like running back and forth, jacking this thing up little by little, and then readjusting. One important thing, guys, is you see the Sprinter leaf. You want to make sure that the place where like the actual bolts goes and those U type of pins or whatever, it is actually going to line up perfectly with a leaf suspension. In a leaf suspension, there's like this little knob. It's kind of like a little finger. It is facing down, and it actually fits perfectly into the groove of that plate right there, that steel. So you constantly have to like look at it, and of course, it is kind of getting dark outside right now because I decided to do everything in one day, and of course, it's a lot of work. So I'm creating a lot of videos out of the day, and plenty of work for me with video editing and with work alone, because this is no small feat trying to replace this thing, because just the bolts alone could be so tight. It is a very difficult job if you don't have the proper tools. But with my 1200 foot-pounds of torque, it made my job a whole lot easier. The impact wrench that I have, guys, the cordless one, it is amazing. But anyways, guys, I'm constantly readjusting my Sprinter leaves, and I want to make sure that on both sides it will not actually fall off, because when you actually shifting it kind of like back and forth, it could actually slide off. So you want to make sure that you could check on the other side and run back and forth. You can't really see me run back and forth now because I did the edits to where I'm not really running around, but I want to make sure that the metal pin or whatever, like I don't know, I could call it like the finger. It is perfectly gonna go in the hole, you know, and it's gonna be locked in there pretty nice. If you're not gonna align it just right, then when you go put the bolts back, it's not actually gonna sit completely tight. Like it's gonna like have a gap in there, and you might wonder like how is this thing even going to be square and or even, or like why won't it like go all the way in. So just make sure you align those things, and you know that you will actually do the job the proper way. And for those of you guys that have done it before, I know this information seems repetitive, but I'm speaking to those of you guys that never did this before and you don't really know what I'm talking about. At least if you're going to be doing this type of job, which I do recommend you do, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. So now everything is on, so let's go ahead and put everything else back on. So anyways, guys, welcome to day 2. Of course, it does not really seem like day 2, but you've seen it just got dark and now it's light again. Turns out it was raining today and it stopped raining. I had a little bit of window of opportunity to come back out, and I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and hook everything up and put the brakes back on, but not so fast. These brakes don't fit. Now I have to actually squeeze the cylinders. I have to remove the pads. I decided to kind of skip over all this because it's a lot of work. No reason for you guys to be looking at that stuff. So I'm already replacing the brake calipers. I replaced, I left the brakes, but I basically squeezed the actual cylinder, master cylinder, whatever, the cylinder that's on the brake caliper, in order for it to go back, and I have enough room to actually reinstall it, because this is different rotors and it must be done for both sides now. But anyways, upon doing this, I've noticed this rubber piece, it was like kind of shaking in there in my sway bar. So I'm thinking, okay, my sway bar's gone, and I kind of figured I could just replace this little thing with a rubber piece, but turns out not so fast. I got to replace the whole sway bar. So I'm kind of thinking, man, how can a 290 mile sprinter, 290,000 mile sprinter, have the sway bar look the way it does? Because it's completely shot. Terrible. Also, the shocks in the original 290,000 mile are shot. So don't think just because somebody got low miles, you're going to get a really good quality sprinter, guys. So, and plus, that one actually needs a head gasket, 290,000. So it's kind of funny when people say sometimes, oh, but it's low miles, you know. Well, your engine's broken. You know, obviously it did not last. You know, somebody did not take care of it. So, you know, that being said, guys, I have to remove this side of the tire now too, because I got to remove the sway bar. And it is a number 13 type of socket to actually remove it. Just a couple bolts. It's not a big deal in order for, you know, for you guys to remove it. So now basically I'm reattaching the sway bar, getting everything nice and tight, and I actually think I installed the sway bar, and when I'm going to be installing the shocks, I'm going to actually install it better than it was before, because the way this shocks was, they were kind of shaking back and forth, and the bolts actually did not want to turn. Like on one of the sides, I'm going to have to apply some flames in order for, you know, that to work. But anyways, this shock is out, and take a look at this. Somebody actually put some kind of bolt at, you know, in the back, and I know you guys can't really see it right now, but you probably will see it in my hand. But I decided to squeeze the shock because they do look beefy, and find out what's the difference between an old shock and a new shock. These are my original shocks. This one has 507,000 miles. I squeezed it and the shock came back out. So I kind of thought, you know, maybe it's good, maybe it's not good. So to be sure, I needed to remove one from 290,000 mile one. But we'll get back to that one. So I got to remove this shock, and this bolt was so stuck that my 1200 foot-pounds of torque could not actually get it out. It was doing a lot of clicking, a lot of banging, but nothing. So I actually had to get my basically my flamethrower out, and with a yellow tank. So this is extra hot, and heat it up till it's completely red. And all of this video, guys, this is actually time-lapsed, so you could imagine it's a lot of video. Just in case some of you guys out there kind of like watching, what am I doing, why am I really heating it up, and kind of thinking that how would this help and stuff like that. You know, for those of you guys, I would like to actually explain that when the bolt does not want to come out and you heat up the actual bolt, it will expand, the metal will expand, and it's actually going to get loose. So this is one of the secrets in order to remove the bolts like this. Now some of the shops, you know, they have like the special tool. I think like Snap-on makes it, and there's probably some other ones that make it as well. You put the special tool like a heating type of device right in the bolt, so there's like no flames. I think it's much safer, and it heats up the bolt like a lot. I think it uses like electricity to heat it up, but it heats it up like a lot, and then you could just simply just remove the bolt. I don't have that, so I have to use this heat, you know, when I can. So now that the bolt is completely heated up, you know, I'm taking my torque wrench to it, the cordless, and look at that, came right out, guys. That works every single time. But guys, I gotta tell you, I don't know how I've been really living my life without this cordless 1200 foot-pounds of torque type of tool, guys. This is a really nice impact wrench. Not only that, I mean, any of them would have been nice. I don't care what kind of brand, as long as they're kind of strong. But what am I saying is, guys, like it feels like every time I'm trying to like undo like these really tight bolts, like it feels like I'm gonna pull a muscle. But anyways, guys, here's my brand new shocks. I bought these things like 4 years ago, and I'm gonna go ahead and actually install them. I actually had them rating just in case. I always carry them in my van as spares. I'm kind of thinking, what if the shock has like a major failure and I'm gonna have to like replace it on the road? So I had those shocks ready. But you maybe seen me kind of like lay the shocks side by side with the old shocks. Maybe I'm gonna do it a little bit later on in this video, but you could clearly see those are much beefier. They're like, I think like 3500, you know, type of shocks, and these are like 2500. You know, this is a original type of size, so at least that's what it said when I was buying them. So I'm not sure on the quality if these are good, but I was trying to pick up like the good stuff. I think I paid like 150 bucks for these shocks as a pair, and that was on like partsgeek.com. So of course they sell stuff a lot cheaper over there. So basically, guys, upon installation of the shock, because they are new, I decided to leave the strap you know, for the longest time, because what if it kind of comes out too quick? It does say it's gas filled type of shocks, so I kind of thought, okay, that's cool, that's like the original stuff. And I left it there because if it's gonna come out, what if it goes too far and then I have to compress it back, which is no problem, it's just extra work. Like, I mean, you could take just a regular jack and jack up the actual you know, shock and then get it back in there. But I never mess with the brand new ones. Now I did. Now I know what they're like. You could actually squeeze them right back and it's no problem. See right here, guys, I compared these two shocks side by side, and you could clearly tell it's much beefier. And then what I'm doing now is I'm squeezing the original shock. I'm comparing like if it's gonna come out, how fast it comes out, and things like that, and compared it like to the other shock, and it was exactly the same. So it looks like the ones that I removed, they look ugly, but they're still good. But I always got like all kinds of rattling in the back, guys, so I want to kind of get rid of that. So I'm trying to just do everything like the nice way. Like if I can, like why not install the new stuff? By the way, guys, sorry like that I'm sounding like I'm speaking through my nose. I have allergies in February and they're killing me like all the time. Itchy eyes, watery eyes, itchy nose, that kind of stuff. So they come and go, and you know, that kind of thing. But you know, that being said, my Sprinter is finally all coming together with this rear differential. It's a big job, but of course, it's kind of fast of a repair, I think. Even though this all could have been done in a single day, but I'm thinking like 3 days to do it. The weather is not so good over here. Plus, every time, you know, like, you know, you need to buy something and replace stuff. So, you know, that kind of stuff takes time. So anyways, I'm messing with the brake over here. Gotta pull that like metal piece out, and then I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I want to kind of like record this on camera, even though this is time-lapsed. As you could see, the brake is completely, you know, it's all together. I did not disassemble it, but yet I was able to remove the brake pads. And I want to show to you guys, if they're kind of used, like not brand new brake pads, you could actually remove them and you could actually reinstall them without having to disassemble this whole piece by piece, you know. So, I mean, it's just 2 extra bolts, but 2 extra bolts I don't have to remove. Time saver for me. So I squeezed the master cylinder back in there and put the brakes back, and now I'm actually replacing the actual brake calipers. So we're gonna be done with that, And this is pretty much like the final step for today, because obviously kind of got dark too quick, because only like at 3 o'clock p.m. it stopped raining. So I decided to go outside and just I wasn't really planning on working because I thought it's gonna rain all day, but I kind of figured, you know, I'm gonna get out there, get my tires off and do some work. But I really thought all I'm gonna do is replace some shocks, easily slip the brakes back on, but instead I had to actually mess with them a little bit. Guys, by the way, this is how you install this metal pin. It might be difficult for you guys, but you first the trick is attach these two rear ends and then put a screwdriver like in the center and you know, like pry it in there like that. So all I have left is connect the brake sensors and the ABS sensor wires, and of course zip tie everything in. Reinstall the vacuum tube for the rear differential. I'm not going to be replacing the gasket on the rear differential this time, but I'm actually going to get to it, you know, at a later point. So right now I'm actually going to like retighten the bolts. Maybe they're loose a little bit. Hopefully that stops the little small leakage from there. And I also need to like reinstall my drive shaft. And another thing is I want to reinstall my tire rack. The reason I removed it is the bolts that you undo for the rack to come down, they're just spinning all the way, you know, like it does not like remove them. So hopefully I could remove that system from my parts van, and maybe I have to use like a welder in order to weld them in place and break the bolt loose, so that I could reinstall you know, the bars, so there's gonna be like no rattling and stuff, because guys, those bolts in my doors, they're actually rattling. Well, anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already for more videos like this. Hit bell notification and hit a like if it's not a big of a deal for you guys. It definitely helps my videos. And if you guys want a Zimaleta branded t-shirt, or you want a t-shirt with your van on it, look at the bottom of this video. You're gonna see I have a t-shirt store. It is hosted by Teespring, connected with YouTube. Pretty sure, you know, you're gonna like one of the t-shirts that I have designed personally. If you don't see a design that you like, let me know in the comments below what design you would like to see. Thank you so much in advance.
My name is Serge Zimaleta. I'm 37 years old, and yes, I experienced success after buying my first home for cash. Back in 2011, I was broke, but I learned to solve problems on my own. Now, I'm helping others to solve their problems. I know what pitfalls to avoid to stay profitable in business. Need motivation to be more successful in your life? Do you have sprint or expedite or business problems? Then subscribe. Let's find creative solutions to your problems. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of my helpful videos.